Hi everybody, this is Will Bowen with today's JumpStart. Today we want to jumpstart perspective. Let me tell you a pretty amazing story. I was scuba diving last year off the coast of Florida, and I went with a dive team, a local dive team, and I had a partner who was a local dive master. I don't dive a lot, but I love to scuba dive. So they took us out to this wreck. And the wreck was about 90 feet down, and there was a pretty good current, and the wreck was truly a wreck. I mean, it was a tugboat that had been dropped down, and over the years, it had actually rusted out all the sides. And so we went down, and I was with this dive master, and she was a young woman, really nice, and she was sort of showing me how to get around the boat, but there was such a strong current. You had to be very careful because it was coral that had attached itself, of course, to the boat, which was the point to create a reef. And the boat itself had rusted, which had created all this razor-like sharpness to it. So we come around the bow to the stern, all the way around, and then we come around the other side, and the other side literally is hollowed out. It is rusted out from side to side. I'm just thinking, wouldn't it be great if I had 3D right now? Anyway, the ship was rusted out so completely, so we got to swim through it. Now, she swam first and I followed her. Now, there was a strong current, as I say, and so what happened was, as I was swimming like this, I came and I hit a reef or something. I don't know what it was, but all I know is that I looked at my hand and there was this black stuff coming out of my hand where I had touched the reef. My hand was obviously cut. There was a gash in it, but also there was this black stuff that was coming out. And I immediately began to panic. And I thought to myself, I have hit some sort of poisonous thing that is now inside of my system. And so I've got to get out. I've got to go get treated. I don't know what this is, but it is not normal for a thick blackness to come pouring out of your body. So I swam out of the ship, came out the other side, and then I floated up and I was above the top of the boat, just literally was like hovering, and I kept looking at my hand and it was still, there was this blackness coming out of it, and I thought, what sort of a poisonous, I didn't hit a lionfish, I would have known that, and what kind, it wasn't like a stinging coral. I mean, there was no real pain other than like my hand was cut. And I couldn't find the dive master I was supposed to be diving with. And I was anxious. I have to tell you, I was a little freaked out. I was thinking, okay, 30 seconds, if I don't find her, and I'm literally kind of floating in a circle like this, floating in a circle. And I said, if I don't find her in 30 seconds, I'm going to surface, which is what you're supposed to do if you lose your buddy. And I'm thinking, why is my hand doing this black thing coming out? And then I remembered Roy G. Biv. Do you remember that from science class? Roy G. Biv? Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Those are the colors of the spectrum. When you go down underwater, and the deeper you go, you lose those colors, and the first one you lose is the first one. R, Roy, red, red. My hand was simply bleeding. It was bleeding. That was all. Nothing had injected I didn't have an alien substance inside of my body. How did I figure that out? I relaxed. I remember that moment. I remember being very chill in that moment and thinking, okay, I'm going to surface. I'm 90 feet down. She's a dive master. I'm sure she's fine. She may be helping someone else. And I remember thinking, my hand's just bleeding. It's not a big deal. And it was funny because just as I thought that, she turned around and looked at me and she said, "Are you okay?" And I went, "I'm okay." And I showed her my hand that it was bleeding, and she goes, "Are you okay?" And I went, "Yeah." And she said, "Good, let's swim." And we did. Perspective. Things happen in our lives and we jump to conclusions and we think we know. And what we need to do is we need to back down and we need to chill out. When we do that, we can begin to have perspective and really know what's going on and realize that in most cases, there's not a lot to freak out about. Enjoy today, and we'll talk tomorrow. Bye-bye.